How many of you have gone on Facebook or Instagram to scroll through a few posts and then realize 2 hours later you've been sucked into the vortex that is social media? Or have you been out to dinner with a group of friends only to look up and see that everyone is on their phone? No one's actually engaged in conversation. Again, everybody's been sucked into the vortex that is social media. As a person who uses social media every day and has done some research on its harmful effects on humans and culture, I have knowledge on this subject. Social media is here to stay, and while it connects us and is great in so many ways, obviously overuse of social media can be harmful. I will share with you 4 main points that will help illustrate the sometimes shocking pitfalls of social media. Social media helps us stay connected to loved ones in different states and lets us share pictures of our trips, our family, and our daily lives. But is it really making us happy? Studies have shown it actually does not and can lead to FOMO, fear of missing out, and depression. According to Clarissa Silva, who studies human behavior, and social media has contributed to an alarming number of cases of loneliness, depression, social anxiety, and isolation from peers. People compare themselves to others' lives on social media, and it's like their highlight reels they're comparing themselves to. This is called the keeping up with the Joneses effect on the internet. A friend once called Facebook fake book because people usually don't post about their troubled marriages or their financial crisis. They only post their picture perfect vacation and their family in matching outfits for the family photo. This can also lead to depression that our own lives don't match up with the stuff we post about. I recently experienced this very thing. I felt depressed because it seemed like my life was less exciting than others. It was dispiriting to see others go on expensive vacations, get married, and buy that beautiful new home while my life seems stagnant. This leads me to my next point. What did we do before social media? Were we missing out? And what if social media took a back burner to our life? There's actually a new trend of people who are ditching social media and limiting it to spend time in the real world. According to Spencer Christensen, known for his research in social studies and anthropology at BYU, since social media is so prevalent in our culture, we are more connected to people than any time in our human history, which would suggest that we are happier. However, his research concludes that we are not. People who do not have social media accounts report to living more fulfilled lives and have closer relationships. A friend of mine actually went on a social media diet for 3 months, and she discovered that she was actually, no, I need to go back to that. Okay, wait. A friend of mine went on a social media diet for 3 months. She reduced her time to Instagram 30 minutes a week, and Instagram too, and Facebook too, blah, blah, blah. She concluded that her friendships were deeper. Instead of texting or tweeting them, she actually called them. She also started a new hobby and taught herself to cook. She found that she didn't miss social media like she thought she did, and was actually more fulfilled in her life and less anxious. So what happens to us when we spend countless hours in front of a screen or our phone? Are we being affected mentally? This brings me to my third point. Recent studies have shown that human beings are affected both cognitively and physically by social media and internet use. According to World Psychiatry and their extensive research on the subject, it has been noted that online use can cause changes in our brain structure and function, mental decline, and brain atrophy may result in overuse of screen time, which is weird. Internet addiction and internet use behavior can also have a negative effect on our sleep patterns, leading to sleeplessness and other disorders. Heavy internet use can also lead to insomnia. According to Dr. Cross, who specializes in pediatric behavior and development, children who spent more than 2 hours a day on screen time activities actually scored lower on language tests. And some children with over 7 hours of screen time suffered thinning of the brain's cortex, the area of the brain related to critical thinking and reasoning. That's very disturbing, especially since children these days spend countless hours online. There's one more thing that frightens me, and it should frighten you too, about the internet and social media. That brings me to my final point. Social media is one of the biggest draws for kids, and it's also one of the biggest draws for pedophiles and predators. According to Charlotte Cuthbertson investigative report for the Epoch Times, 55% of sex trafficking survivors met their trafficker online via text, social media, or internet. Often the predator will befriend the child and bring them and begin to groom them. This often involves sending innocent photos, sharing personal stories, gaining their trust, and giving them a lot of attention. After the trust is gained, then the manipulation and brainwashing begins. According to one study by the Department of Human Services, at any given moment there are 750,000 predators online who are out there looking for children. In conclusion, social media is great and it keeps us connected, but it can also contribute to depression, missing out on real life, and cognitive brain function. It is also a playground for child sex predators. I will end with a funny quote. Last night the internet stopped working, so I had time to spend with my friends and family. Turns out they're great. Thanks so much, and I hope you learn a little bit more about the internet like I did. Okay, that's way too long.